Hello second grade, so today we are going to make a symmetrical butterfly, and we are going to draw half of our butterfly. We are going to go over our pencil lines with some black glue, and then we're going to fold over our paper and rub that half of the butterfly onto the other side to make it perfectly symmetrical, the same on both sides. So the first thing we need to do is get our paper ready with a fold. So you're going to take one side of your paper, reach it over to the other side, use your finger to crease up and down. You're going to open it up, and then you're going to fold this in the opposite direction using that same crease. So I'm going to take, using that crease, and fold it in the opposite direction, creasing with my pointer fingers so that I'm creasing it one direction and creasing it the other direction. Okay? Now this is very important. You need to get your name on here. Once you put glue onto your paper, you cannot flip it over to write your name. So your name is going to go on the back, and we're only going to draw half of our butterfly. So here's the fold. I'm going to draw everything on the right side of my paper, and I'm not going to cross over this middle line. So you're going to open up your packet to the page with the butterflies if you want to look at something to give you an idea of the shape of the bodies and the shape of the wings. And you are only drawing half. So I always start with the head near the top of my paper, and I'm going to press really hard and draw dark. I want you to press light and draw lightly. But I'm going to press dark so that you can see on the screen what I'm doing. So that's the head. I'm going to do the body. So I tried to make it look a little bit like this one, that it kind of has a bump here. If you want to include an eye, this one has an eye, this one has eyes, this one kind of has eyes, you could add that. So maybe I put a circle here, but then I have to erase what's inside the circle. So this is why I would want you to draw light, so that when you erase it goes away. Mine doesn't really go away all the way. All right, you can add an antenna. And then I'm going to draw the top of the top wing. So I can look at these ideas for these drawings for different ideas for shape, for the shape of the wing. So I'm going to make this one go up and come back to the body. And I want you to make your butterfly reach towards the top of your paper, reach towards the right side of your paper, and reach towards the bottom of your paper. Make a nice, really big butterfly. And so for the second wing, that's going to be the shape there. Now, I've been drawing for a long time, so I just drew those wings really fast, and I don't need to erase. But you might need to practice. You might need to sketch lightly, and then erase until you get it nice and big, filling your paper, and about the size that you want. So at this point, you need to include organic and geometric shapes, because we've talked about those. So you need to include some geometric shapes. I've already included a circle right here, so there's a geometric shape. Triangles, rectangles, ovals, shapes that have names are geometric shapes. Shapes that don't have names would be organic. So this shape here would be an organic shape. This shape here is a geometric shape. It's a circle. It has a name. These curved lines here that make a shape, that would be an organic shape. Now, I don't want you to do a lot. I only want you to do 2 or 3 in each wing. So I'm going to do an oval up here. And I want you to draw it nice and big, but don't put your lines too close together. And then that's my geometric shape. And then maybe I'll do some lines and curved lines and almost a shape there for my organic. And then for the bottom, maybe I'll do, so for the bottom I think I'll do a triangle here. So there's my geometric shape. And then I'll do some organic. So remember, I said 2 or 3. So I did 2 shapes on a line, so I would say that would be 3. So I've done 1 shape, so I either need to do 1 more shape or 2 more. and I'm going to leave it there. So I did 2 in the bottom, 3 in the top. Look how big these shapes are. This is very, very important that you draw these lines and shapes big, filling the space. If you draw small little tiny details, when you go to glue, the glue is going to run together and smush together, and it's just going to be a smushy black line. So I have a little bit of a scrap paper here. I'm going to give you a scrap paper to practice on briefly with the black glue. Now, I don't want you to open the black glue all of the way. If you open the black glue all the way, you're going to get a really thick line. Okay, so this is the start, and there's some white glue here, so that's why we're going to practice. So here comes the black glue. All right, so there's the black glue, and that's a really thick line. But if you start with your glue bottle closed, and you open it just a little bit and see if you can squeeze and get glue out. I can't get any out, so I'm going to open it a little bit more, squeeze. Still can't get any glue out, so I'm going to open it a little bit more, and now the glue's coming out. So this line is a little bit smaller than that line, not much, so I'm going to try to close it up a little bit and see. There we go. There's a smaller line. The thinner the line, I think the happier you'll be with your butterfly. And I'm going to show you what it looks like when you have your glue open all the way. So when you have your glue open all of the way, I had mine open all the way. This was an open circle and it just squished closed. This was just a line, but when I closed it, it just squished and made a big black dot. These are very thick. This is fine. But you may prefer to have your butterfly a little bit, have thinner lines. So that's why I want you to twist your glue bottle closed and then open it slightly and slightly till you get a thinner line. So once you kind of get the thickness of line that you're comfortable with, you're going to take this and throw this in the trash. Do not put this in a blue recycle bin. And you're going to start, if you work really slow, do one part at a time, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do one part at a time. So I'm going to take this glue and I'm going to squeeze gently and pull and move my glue bottle across that line so that I'm covering up my pencil line. So this is like if we had the Sharpie marker and we were tracing over our pencil lines with Sharpie. We're just doing it now with black glue instead of Sharpie. So I'm going to do the antenna, the head, and I'm going to do the eye. I got a little distracted, and so that's not quite on my pencil lines, but that's okay. So that's my start. So I'm going to take this side of my paper and I'm going to fold it over very carefully, and I'm going to rub gently. I don't have to press real hard. Just gently rub, open it up, and now I created a symmetrical head. So now I'm going to do that again for the body. I'm going to keep moving my glue bottle as I go over the top of my pencil lines. So it's a little thin there, so I'm going to add a little bit more glue there. And mine got a little bit like dots. It was too thin of a glue line and then thick in other spaces, so you kind of get a dotty kind of look, and that's okay. So now I've got the body, so I'm going to fold it back over, and I'm just going to rub where the body is. I don't need to rub where the head is anymore because the head's already been transferred over. So that's a little dotty. It's almost like a dotted line instead of a smooth line because it was thin and then thick and then thin and then thick. And it's okay. That's perfectly okay. So I'm going to keep going. But to try to avoid that, I'm going to try to squeeze and move a little bit slower. I think maybe I moved a little bit too fast. And see, now this looks more of a smooth black line. So I moved a little bit too fast before, So now I'm trying to go a little bit slower and squeeze across. I'm going to go ahead and do the inside of the wing as well before I rub it over. Okay, I'm going to fold this over, again, just rubbing where the top wing is. I don't need to rub the body or the head. I'm just gently running my hand over the top. I'm not pressing down hard. All right, and then my last wing. So this one was a lot less of a dotted line. So that means that moving a little bit slower helped to make that line more smooth. Whoops, I went too fast. So I have a thin spot right there, which is going to make it look more dotted. So I'm going to go back and add just a little bit. This is also why I don't want you to put a lot of lines or shapes on the wings, because when we go to put this glue, see how the line gets so much thicker? This is what the line was, but then when we rub it over and we press, the line gets thicker. So if we draw a bunch of shapes, it's just going to look like a black blob of glue instead of different shapes outlined with black glue. Okay, I'm finished. So I'm going to close this glue bottle up. I would get a paper towel, but I'm going to use a tissue because I'm not close to the paper towels. Use a paper towel, clean the tip of the glue off, throw your paper towel away, and then I'm going to fold it over one last time and gently rub for the bottom wing. I'm going to open this up, and there is my symmetrical butterfly. We're going to put this on the drying rack very flat to let it dry, and then during our next class we'll add some color. Good job, second grade.